The morning fog hung low over the farm, curling around the lodge and pond like ghostly fingers. The air was still, almost deceptive in its tranquility. Karen's obsession had reached a new peak. After the settlement of disputed property boundaries, the HOA suddenly appeared on the grounds, emergency vehicles in tow, claiming ownership of the farm. Their arrival was brazen, aggressive, and completely unfounded, but predictable. I had been walking along the perimeter, reviewing the estate's defensive measures and inspecting new sensor placements. The tactical team was already in position. Former Marines, law enforcement veterans, and trained family members, strategically deployed across every approach to the farm. Drones hovered silently above, scanning for movement, recording every moment, and streaming real-time data to the command center. The HOA convoy, led by Karen in her usual black SUV, approached with confidence that bordered on arrogance. "This property now falls under HOA jurisdiction," Karen shouted as she waved documents, clearly intended to intimidate. "You must vacate immediately or face enforcement." I stopped, calm and deliberate, holding credentials that not only validated my authority over the property but also linked directly to law enforcement oversight. "This is private property," I said firmly. "Your claims are invalid. Any attempt to enforce these imaginary rights will be met with lawful and tactical consequences." Karen's loyalists fanned out, attempting to assert control over access points and block pathways to the lodge. They were met instantly with calculated countermeasures. Sensor-triggered warnings, barriers deployed, and tactical team members moving into positions that contained potential threats without escalating violence. The drones captured every step of their approach, every futile attempt to intimidate, and transmitted it live to the command center. Karen, growing increasingly frustrated, abandoned her composure and began issuing frantic commands into her phone, calling emergency services in a desperate attempt to legitimize her intrusion. But the law was clear. The farm had been legally settled, and she had no authority here. Every call she made only further cemented her obsession and exposure to liability. I stepped closer, voice calm but commanding, eyes locked on her. "You have no claim to this property. Every attempt you make to assert control is documented and will be prosecuted if necessary. Withdraw immediately." Her loyalists faltered, their confidence shattered by the reality of the situation. They had assumed numbers and intimidation could force compliance. Instead, they faced meticulous preparation, legal authority, and a tactical readiness that rendered their aggression irrelevant. Karen, realizing her plan had failed, made a panicked retreat back to her vehicles. The estate returned to calm, the lodge and waterfront farm fully intact. My spouse and I walked along the pond, the infant secure in our arms, observing the remnants of the failed intrusion. "She never learns," my spouse murmured. "No," I replied. "Every escalation only exposes her obsession and reinforces the authority of preparation, foresight, and law. Aggression cannot overcome strategy." By evening, the fog lifted, sunlight glinting off the pond and reflecting the restored serenity of the grounds. Karen's attempt to assert control after the settlement had failed spectacularly. Her obsession had ignited the very conflict she sought to dominate, and she left with her authority discredited, her interference neutralized, and the farm untouched. Tactical readiness, strategic foresight, and lawful authority had once again preserved the lodge, the grounds, and the family against reckless ambition. Karen's actions served only to reinforce the futility of obsession against preparation, leaving the estate secure, untouchable, and serene.